G'day and welcome back to the 2024-25 GameDay Squad Fantasy Cricket Show. I'm Stu, that's Dill, and together we're the Fantasy Bros. This summer, we've partnered with GameDay Squad to bring you all you need to know to succeed in this season's Australia cricket competition, where you can win some fantastic cash and pack prizes. If you're a new user, you can sign up to GameDay Squad using the code FBAC24 and you'll be rewarded with your very own 3-player rare pack. This will get you started with a nice variety of cards to get your classic or your challenger squads rolling. You'll also be able to open up a stack of bronze packs, which will help you build out that initial squad. That code again is FBAC24. Dill, we're now less than a week out from our first game on Sunday. Can you tell our new viewers what they can go back and watch? And also, what else are we going to be covering before the tournament kicks off on December the 15th?
Yep, g'day mate, g'day viewers and listeners. By now, our viewers can go back and watch all 8 team previews where we covered each team's in and outs, their likely 11s for round 1. We named our must-have players in the bat, all-rounder and bowler positions, and then named our likely most valuable player and our breakout player candidates. Those 8 episodes can be viewed on the GameDay Squad YouTube channel, as well as listened to on Apple or Spotify. Most recently, we dropped the top 10 rankings in the bat wicketkeeper position. So since you can play only 4 of those in each round, you need to go back and you need to make sure you check out our top 10 rankings, particularly who we ranked in those top 3, top 4 spots. Today, we're going to be covering the top 10 all-rounders, and then we'll conclude our preseason content with the top 10 bowlers before, obviously, the competition kicks off on Sunday.
Yeah, mate, we're getting really close, aren't we? And in all of those videos as well, viewers will be able to see all of those packs that we've opened now. We obviously love to open up a few packs, and we love to get our viewers involved with those pack openings as well. So viewers, you can go and see all of those cards that we've opened and see which players are in the prize pool that you can claim during that live stream on December the 15th. You just need to comment on any of those YouTube videos and we'll let you know who's won during that live stream. Also, I'm sure you've all done it, but the Matt Short Diamond giveaway is the hot ticket in town. If you want a chance to win a Matt Short Diamond card just before round 1 kicks off, all you need to do is comment your GameDay Squad team name into any of our preseason YouTube videos, and that'll give you 11 entries in total. Honestly, you'd be silly to miss out on this opportunity. We're going to name the winner on Sunday, December 15th, during that live show, and you'll be able to get that card straight in your team before the first ball is bowled. Make sure you've got your name in all of those comments. Go back and do it now. Alrighty, Dill, that's all the prize info out of the way. Let's get the show on the road with the all-rounders. Who have you got ranked 10 through 6?
Yep, all right. So coming in at number 10 for me is the West Indian Fabian Allen of the Strikers, their new signing there. At 9, I've gone Jack Edwards from the Sydney Sixers. At 8, Daniel Sams. 7, Tom Curran. And then Will Sutherland at 6, or as we're currently referring to him as Will He Bowl Sutherland. A few question marks over his availability there. Mate, who have you got in your 10 through to 6?
Very good, mate. Yeah, I like that little play on words there with Will Sutherland. Very good. Kicking off at 10, I've also got Fabian Allen, that exciting signing for the Adelaide Strikers. I've then got Paul Walter from the Brisbane Heat, Jack Edwards, Jamie Overton, and then I've got Chris Jordan at number 6. Mate, can you tell us a little bit more about why you have Daniel Sams at 8? You'll hear a little bit later that he's a little bit higher inside my top 5. So why is he sort of down the bottom of the top 10 for you?
Yeah, I guess, before we look at some of the reasons why he's not as high, some of the reasons why he's definitely in my top 10 is that across the 8 games in the 2023-24 season, he averaged 54.5 GDS points. So, you'd take that any day of the week for your all-rounder position. From that, he took 12 wickets, but he only scored 102 runs. And I think that's where some of the concerns lie for me, that I think for him to be able to push through that sort of 10 to 6 spot and make it into my top 5, he needs to show a little bit more form with the bat to really prove that all-rounder sort of status. I guess the other concern is that he hasn't played a lot of first-class cricket since probably the Vitality Blast back in June. He did take 7 wickets in 6 games over there in England during that tournament, but he couldn't get above 11 with the bat in any of his innings. So that's a little bit concerning for me. there's only 11 points there for him in terms of GDS for each game. So yeah, really concerned about his batting ability. But we have seen, go back 12, 24 months, he has shown that he can bat, and once he finds some form, we know that he's that good. The other thing, he did return to club cricket last weekend. He did take 4 for in 3 overs, so that's a good signs. But again, only managed 11 with the bat, so that was off 7 balls as well. So few question marks over his form with the bat, but we know he's a dominant bowler, and we know what we can expect from him with the ball.
Yeah, mate, fantastic points. They're all valid, and no surprise you do have him in your top 10. But yeah, it's definitely the injury concerns that probably might turn a few people off. Maybe just starting with him in their round 1 squad, and maybe having a bit of a look at him in those first game or two, and then determining whether or not they'll play him. But what I really like about him is that he's become a bit more of a T20 freelancer now. He denied a contract from New South Wales Cricket, and he wants to sort of focus just on the shorter form of the game. And yeah, he's suffered that pretty bad knee injury in last season's Big Bash, and he missed out on the English summer. But maybe the time off is what he needs to help his body recover and put in a big load over Christmas. Now, you're right, he did return to form with those 4 for 22, which is definitely promising. But I think he'll definitely do a little bit better with the bat this year. He's demonstrated that he can go off with the bat. And I think last year the Thunder were just struggling far too often. Their top order was pretty poor. He came in at times that was really difficult, and maybe he just tried to hit out of trouble, and he played some risky shots, and that's why he got out. But I think the top order need to set a bit of a better platform for him. He'll be able to come out and be able to play a little bit more free-flowing, and I'm sure that'll have a positive effect on the runs that he scores. I also love the fact that their bowling attack looks a little bit better now as well. I think he'll again be amongst the most wickets taken this season. And when he's at his best with the ball, he normally consolidates that with the bat as well. So if he's bowling well, he's batting well, and vice versa. But you're right, I'll probably have a look at him, see how that injury's going in that first round or two, and then go from there.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably hopefully good for him then, maybe that they get put into bowl first, and maybe he can get a few overs in and get that confidence before then he has to go out and bat. So, maybe have a look at that toss and see what they do come that first game for sure. Mate, another player that got a bit of interest in, you've gone Tall Paul in your 10 through to 6. He hasn't quite made my top 10. So obviously we do love Paul Walter because he's from the Heat. But why specifically have you got him within your top 10?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him outside of your top 10. And for me, that's because looking at his stats last year, he averaged just shy of 53 GDS points. But that was with a fit and firing Michael Neser, who also dominated with the ball for the Brisbane Heat. Now, we know that Michael Neser is nursing a bit of a hamstring injury that made him miss a couple of the Australian A games late last month. Neser's also now 35. He injured that same hamstring playing in the Shield competition earlier this year. So the Heat are going to need to rely pretty heavily on Paul Walter with both the bat and the ball through the middle order there. He might even be a bit too low in my ranks looking at where he is in number 9. He took 17 wickets in last season's tournament in just 11 games, and that was obviously with Michael Neser as well. He scored 99 runs with the bat, which included some pretty good late cameos where he had to come out and go for the tonk when the top order sort of struggled. But hopefully he can score a bit more runs with the bat this year. I just think he's going to be as good with the ball or even better. He's also got this uncanny ability to put himself in the right spot in the field and take some pretty good catches. And we know how important the fielding scoring is as well. Those players in those hot spots in the field tend to score a few extra points as well. I'm thinking a big season for Paul Walter, particularly while Michael Neser's out.
Yeah, some really good points. And I guess, obviously it's really important for the Heat that he goes well. And we want to see him go well. I guess the concern for me, again, very similar to Dan Sams, is that batting ability. As you touched on, 99 runs last season across 11 games. It's not amazing in terms of the all-rounder position. You take that and you're happy with that. That's still GDS points, but I want to see a little bit more from him. And as we touched on in the Brisbane Heat preview, their top order isn't as good as it was last year. There's a few question marks over their ability to score. So, he might come in at a pretty poor position when we're 4, 5, 6 down and we don't have a lot of runs on the board, and he tries something a bit silly, and there's a duck there, and there's some demerits for Paul Walter. So yeah, just a couple of concerns for me over his batting ability and then what that's going to look like. I definitely agree, in terms of him being in a hot spot for some catches, and we do love when he takes a wicket or a catch and he celebrates at the end of those. So it'll be great to see him celebrate a few more times this season. I'm just a little bit wary over that form with the bat, but you never know. We'll see how he goes.
Yeah, geez, that Heat top order does look pretty thin without the likes of Usman Khawaja, Labuschagne, and McSweeney as well. So hopefully those boys going well for the Aussie side, and then get back to the Heat in some good form. And yeah, and we might see Paul Walter even explode a little bit more once they stabilise that top order. If he was a bowler only, it'd be an absolute no-brainer. But we also want some runs scored from our all-rounders as well. I think he'll chip in nicely with the ball. But yeah, he needs to probably take a step up with the bat this season, and fingers crossed he does so. Yeah. All right, mate, now for the top 5. And these are the players that we probably expect us to carry us through most of the GDS rounds. At most, we can only fit 4 of these guys in. Dill, run us through your top 5, mate.
Yep, all right. At number 5, I've gone the ever-frustrating Glenn Maxwell. I think everyone agrees with me in terms of his level of frustration and what we get out of him. At 4, I've gone Jamie Overton of the Strikers. At 3, I've also gone his striker teammate, which might come as a surprise, in Matt Short, who was the GOAT, obviously, last season, and a lot of people are expecting him to be the GOAT again. At 2, I've gone Bowie Webster of the Stars, and my number 1 is Aaron Hardy from Perth Scorchers. Mate, are there any similarities there between our top 5?
Yeah, we got quite a few actually, and some good discussion points hopefully coming up as well. I've got that Dan Sams at 5 that we mentioned a little bit earlier. 4, I've got your number 1 in Aaron Hardy. I've then got the frustrating Maxi at number 3, but look, I think we've got to play him. He's such a good player when he's not injured, so fingers crossed he comes back nice and healthy pretty quickly. I've got his Stars teammate Tom Curran at number 2, and the go to the comp, Matty Short. He's my number 1. He doesn't even need to go as well as he did last year to get number 1 again, but the GOAT is definitely my number 1.
Nice.
Dill, I noticed you had Bo Webster right up there at number 2. Now, he's definitely a player that I like, but with some recent concerns around maybe some availability due to how close he is to the test scene at the moment, particularly with Mitch Marsh's form and some recent injury concerns. Marsh only bowled 4 overs in that entire test match against India. So I think selectors might look elsewhere, and Bo Webster would be that perfect fit in the Aussie team. Obviously, we'd need to wait and hear if he is picked or not. But you've got him at 2, mate. Why is he so high for you?
Yeah, I guess this number 2 does come with a massive asterisk next to it. At this stage, we expect that he will be in the Aus Cricket tournament, and fingers crossed the Aussie selectors are maybe a little bit stubborn and hopefully stick with some of the selections that they've made and see if they play out over the next few weeks. So, yeah, it does come with a big asterisk, but I really love Bo Webster in the position that he's in. He should be coming into some absolute form, and he should be coming into the season with some confidence as well. He currently sits second on the top wicket takers list in the One Day Cup with 11 poles in 3 innings. So, you're really happy with his bowling performance. He's taken that bowling to a new level, and that ability paired with his batting ability, coming in at 3 for the Stars and being able to have that consistency as well as that ability just to accumulate runs and not necessarily always look for that massive shot, which we've seen some of the other Stars players in the past. I think Bo Webster comes in with quite a level head, and I really like that. And I guess, that paired with that bowling ability, it's really the epitome of an all-rounder this season. So I really like the spot that he's in. I really like his role in the team. And there are obviously some question marks about the number of overs potentially that he's going to get in the side. That, they've obviously gone out and made some good signings, and they've obviously re-signed some good players as well. So there's some concerns there. But question marks obviously over Maxi's health and whether he's going to be fit and firing for that round 1 double. As well as, I guess, the Star. I don't know what it is about the Stars, but they really don't want to give Stoinis the ball very often, which is, it's weird. We see him bowl consistently well for Australia, but he can't get a gig for the Stars. So, that potentially means there's 3 or 4 overs available or up for grabs for Bo. And I think Bo Webster, if he's able to bowl all 4, he's a set and forget for me. If he bowls 3, then I'm still laughing, and I'm going to be playing him each and every week. So that's why I've got him so high on my list, but it does come with a big asterisk. So obviously it's always important to check those team lists and then make sure you are on that live show an hour before that first ball, where we'll announce those final teams as well as we're running through some of our favourites for the round 1.
Yeah, can't wait for that, mate. Definitely looking forward to that. Unfortunately, what the team lists don't show us is how many overs each of those bowlers are going to have. That'd be handy, wouldn't it? Now, wouldn't it just be the biggest kick in the teeth if Stoinis ends up getting 3 or 4 overs and Bo Webster doesn't get any? That's so likely to happen. That's so typical of the Stars. And we don't know. So those people playing him in round 1, I presume you would be, obviously, if he's named and not in that test squad. But yeah, like I do see a bit of risk there, and maybe I might just have a look. But it could be a big pod for you in those early games. And if he does get 3 or 4, then yeah, he's going to get a cracking score and probably push for top score of that round 1. So I like the risk, I like the roll, but we just don't necessarily know what's going to happen. Hey.
Yep, that's it. And in GDS, I think sometimes you've got to take a bit of a risk to potentially end up at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the week. Call. So yeah, we definitely got to look for those opportunities for pods. Another one potentially from the Stars that we both have is Tom Curran. He's outside my top 5, but you've got him as one of your set and forgets for sure at number 2. So give us some insight as to why you've got him as high as 2.
Yeah, look, he's Bo Webster's teammate, but the big difference between the two is that Tom Curran's all but assured of 4 overs. The only time he won't get 4 overs is probably if they bowl out the opposition team pretty early on, or the opposition team score their runs nice and quickly before the end of the innings. Tom Curran is such a good death bowler. He's so good early on. He's so good during the power play as well. So he'll be given the ball plenty of times. We know that GDS scoring sometimes favours the bowlers, particularly if the batsmen get a really good rock and they get dismissed really cheaply. All their scoring involvements are done for the whole game. So they could be the best batsmen in the world, but have a very low scoring game day squad. Now, we know that the bowlers don't need to be the best bowlers. All they need is a pretty poor shot from a batsman just trying to clear the ropes and miss hitting a ball, getting caught on the boundary. And that's some great points. So that's why I think Tom Curran is going to be a lock in my squad. He does plenty with the ball. He also does a little bit with the bat as well. Now, last year, he wasn't great. He only averaged 30.75, but that was in the Sydney Sixers team, along with the likes of Benny Dorshus, Sean Abbott. Who else did they have? Jackson Bird. So those are some quality bowlers, and there was a reason why Tom Curran, wasn't necessarily dominating and being that really alpha bowler, because the skip there could throw to any of those 4 blokes and have some really good returns as well. But at the Stars, Tom Curran's probably got to be their number 1 bowler. That they're lacking a little bit, and he's definitely going to get those 4. I presume he'll bowl the death, even though they might have had a recent signing. But look, he also can do plenty of power hitting at the bottom of the order there. Hopefully, Maxi, Stoinis, Webster, they got a solid middle order. So Tom Curran probably won't have to come in under a lot of pressure. He might even float up the order and just be given a license to smack the ball. And he's got the ability to knock it to the fence and even over it as well. He only took 4 wickets last season in 4 matches before, he decided to run into an umpire. He only contributed 8 runs with the bat. Mate, I think we put a line through that. He's got a new coloured jersey on. He's got a different role in this team. I'm expecting some really big things from this bloke who's only 29. He's taken 228 wickets for his country at an impressive 148 strike rate with the bat as well. Can't wait to play him this week.
Yeah, and I think after I've listened to all of that, I might have to go back and adjust my rankings a little bit. Maybe I do have him a little bit low there. There's so many points we could continue to talk about in terms of the Stars and the all-rounder options that they have, and the uncertainty over who does what and what role they play in the team. So I think maybe to make it super easy, we just get Bo Webster over to the Aussie squad, and that locks in that Curran gets 4, that Maxi's healthy, and then we can play those two without having to hesitate at all. But I guess that concern of they've got Tom Curran, plus they've got 3 other genuine all rounders. Plus, as you touched on, they've just made another big signing. There's just some question marks there, and there are question marks over the form that he brings from the last season into this season, and whether the new club's going to be a blessing for him, or if it's going to be a bit of a curse, and he continues with that. I kind of like players that have had a down season as well, and they've got something to prove the next season, that they hopefully come out and have a big one once they've re-signed with a new club. So I think I'll be keeping my eye closely on that final team list to make that decision between whether I play Tom Curran or Bo Webster, obviously, as well as the Aussie Test squad. So I really like it.
Yeah, mate. Or on the flip side, we just play all 4 in Maxi, Stoinis, Webster, Curran, and then we don't have to, kick ourselves if we get one of them wrong. The only issue with that, it means that we probably have to leave out some really handy all-rounders. So let's talk about our number 1s. Why is Aaron Hardie going to be the best all-rounder for you this year?
Yeah, look, before I start talking about my number 1, I just want to put it out there that in no way do I think you shouldn't play Matt Short. Just because I have him at 3, he is still a set and forget, and I don't think I will ever be playing a squad without Matt Short unless we see something really bad from him. But I think for me, Aaron Hardie probably has the best opportunity for any all-rounder this season, just the way that the squads come together and the opportunity that he has based on that. Obviously, we know their squad is always amazing. They're always able to sign these blokes and bring them in, and they're just able to do a job. And they always seem to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season in terms of pushing for that final spot. However, the thing for me is the potential injury concerns over the couple of Scorchers all-rounders and the role that they will vacate, or the number of overs that they will potentially vacate. So we've seen Ashton Agar obviously has that shoulder concern. Connolly has the hand concern. So, they're 2 quality all-rounders there for that squad that had some really good opportunities last season, and potentially that opens up for Aaron Hardie. The other big thing that we touched on in the team preview was the Ashton Turner being injured last season meant Aaron Hardie stepped into that captaincy role, and he was really not willing to give himself the ball. So if Ashton Turner is fully healthy, comes back full recovery, let's just hope it means that Hardie's going to get the nod a few more times. And, it would be great to see him with the ball 2, 3, 4 overs would be awesome. In terms of last season, he was the second best all-rounder, scoring 613 GDS points. Obviously, that's almost 200 less than the go to the tournament, Matt Short. So he's got a lot of work to do to close that gap. But most of those came from his bat. He hit 334 runs across last season. So if he can improve on those 6 wickets that he took, I think it really shores him up as one of the top all-rounders, for the season. You just have to go back to his last performance against Pakistan for Australia in that T20 International. He had 4 overs, he took 3 wickets, and he had 14 dot balls as well. And you look at that team, it was with the likes of Bartlett, Johnson, Ellis, and Zampa all in the team as well, all having an opportunity to bowl. So I think for me that, if he's getting those 4 overs for Australia, then let's hope he can get 4 overs back with the Perth Scorchers.
Yeah, well, let's hope. But we just spoke about how that doesn't seem to happen for Marcus Stoinis. And that's probably the main reason why I'm a little bit hesitant on Hardie. Look, he is obviously still my number 4 just because of how good he is with the bat. But I think I'm going to treat him as more of a bat-only option early on in this tournament. And given that's the case, he doesn't quite maybe make a spot in my round 1 team in the all-rounder position. We saw last year that, like you said, Perth have such a good bowling attack. They've got the likes of Jai Richardson, AJ Tye, they've got Behrendorff, and they've also got Lance Morris. And that's such a good bowling lineup that Hardie's not necessarily guaranteed anywhere near 4 overs, particularly if they go with a spinner or a couple of those other all-rounders. Yes, early on without Agar and Connolly, he's probably a little bit more likely, but it becomes so much more murky when those 2 return as well. He could go from 4 overs for Australia to 0 for the Scorchers. So I want to see him get those overs first. And if that means I miss out on a big score or two, then that's probably a risk I'm willing to take early on, particularly when there are so many other good options for our all-rounder spot. But what's interesting for me is that last year, when the four big names for the Perth Scorchers were all playing, I think Hardy only got 6 or so overs in 6 matches when they were all playing. Now, as soon as Jai Richardson was injured and ruled out for the rest of the tournament, then Hardy ended up getting 3 or 4 overs each game. He went from none to 2 overs to 3 or 4 with that one injury to the pace quartet. So if I see a Perth Scorchers team sheet without Richardson, Ty, Berendorf or Morris, I think I'm going to be far more likely to play Hardy in my squad. If all those 4 are named, I might just have to leave him out and have a look first.
Yeah, all good points. And I think the key one there is probably Jai Richardson, which I think we'll probably have a bit more of a discussion about when we get to our bowling top 10s in a couple of days. But I think obviously he's the big one to keep an eye on, whether he's in or not. And for me, let's hope that he isn't in, so that Aaron Hardy does get potentially 4 overs. But the other thing probably important to point out is we've talked about it a little bit, but round 1 we've got two teams playing the double game. We've got the Stars, we've got the Renegades, and the double game is super important. We haven't really touched on it a lot. So if you're new to GDS, the way that it works is that your double gamers, if they play those 2 games, you get 2 bites of the cherry. So if they fail in that first game, but they go big in the second game, you get that big score in the second game. So whatever score they hit that is higher, you will get that in your round 1 score. So it's probably important to have a look at that and how that's going to, impact your team structure. For me, potentially, Aaron Hardy might be one that I don't play in that first round because of those double games. And like you say, we might be, hands over the eyes when Aaron Hardy is in, and especially if he does get given the ball. Fingers crossed he has a big season though. Look, our last one, we've got to talk about him. He is the go-to the competition. We're all expecting Matt Short to have an absolute unreal season again. You've obviously tipped him as number 1. You're expecting him to replicate his form from last season and then maybe even go a bit better. So let us know, why do you think he's going to take top honours again?
Yeah, well, like I alluded to in the intro, Matt Short doesn't even need to replicate last season's form, would you believe? He only needs to be somewhere in the ballpark to still be the number 1 player. He averaged a massive 80 GDS points last season in the 11 games that he played, and that was a 15-point average greater than the next best player. So even if he doesn't score as many runs with the bat, even if he doesn't get as many overs or take as many wickets with the ball, he still doesn't need to do too much less to get that number 1 spot or at least a top 3 finish. He's one of the players that can absolutely make or break your round, and he's the type of guy that you leave out, he goes off, then you're sick of cricket. You don't want to watch anymore for the rest of the week until the new round rolls around. I can't take that risk on someone as dominant as Matt Short. We haven't seen it once or twice. We've seen it for a couple of years now. He's got a couple of starts for the Aussies where he hasn't necessarily been as good, where he's only averaging about 23 with a top score of 66. But when you look at that strike rate, 163 in 13 starts, that is ridiculous. And that's against quality international bowlers. Yeah, there are plenty of good bowlers here in the Aus Cricket competition, but there are also some that definitely aren't international standard, and that's where Matty Short definitely takes advantage. He loves playing on the home deck at Adelaide. He loves clearing the fence. So those of you in Adelaide, make sure you get along, sit in the crowd there, and there'll be plenty of catches coming your way. The reason why I love Matty Short, aside from his batting, is that he does take plenty of wickets with the ball. He took 5 last season. He's just got that uncanny ability, that little uncanny knack to take a wicket every now and then. I think it's because he starts by opening the innings. The batsmen go, okay, I'm going to get on top of this part-timer. I'm going to hit him out of the attack. And then he just, finds a way to get a wicket, whether it's, a loose shot from the batsman getting caught or playing all around a ball that doesn't spin and taking a wicket in that regard. One thing that does worry me is the strikers look quite spin heavy. They could even go into that first game with Boyce and Pope as 2 frontline spinners, and then Fabian Allen it can do some part-time spin bowling as well. So if those three are in the lineup, there's probably less chance that Matty Short gets 2 overs. But I can't leave him out and look to see his role in round 1. He'll be in my team in round 1. If he's not getting those overs, then I might reassess. But for me, he's a lock and load. Those 43 fours and 25 sixes last year were incredible, and I can only see him doing something really similar again this year.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I in no way do I expect him to finish outside of those top 3 in terms of the all-rounder position, and probably in the top 3 across the whole tournament, across all players. And I guess the reason for me that he's not number 1 is as you touched on, the strikers have really gone spin heavy, and that's straight from the new coach Tim Payne's mouth that he acknowledges that you named 3 quality spinners there, and then Matt Short potentially being that 4th option, and then across all bowlers he could be the 7th option, in that bowling attack. So question marks over how many overs he gets. I would like 2 or 3. But if he is bowling that first over, if he does get that first opportunity, like you say, he tends to take a bit of a wicket there. And whether it is, the combination of the part-timer and maybe the power play and those fielding restrictions, the batsmen think I can smack this downtown and it just goes straight up in the air, or they, like you say, they play all around it. So, I'd like to see him get the nod in that first over. But then it's just really about looking at that team list from there and going, are they going to be using him as a genuine option, or is it going to be just that, potential for that quick wicket early on in the innings? So, a couple of question marks over that squad for me, but he definitely will be in that top 3 by season's end for sure.
Yeah, nice, man. For those of you, all those viewers sitting there going, panicking because they don't currently have a Matt Short in their squads, just remember you've got a really good opportunity to win his diamond card. Make sure you pause the video now, comment your GameDay Squad team name in the comments section to go in the draw. And then once this is over, go back to all the rest of our videos, put your team name in there as well, and then you'll have a chance to claim his diamond card ready for that match, ready for that first round on Sunday, December 15. All right. Hey, it wouldn't be a Fantasy Bros preseason video without a pack opening game, would it? So, guys, this one's going to be a little bit different to our 8-team preview video pack openings. So listen up. I'm going to open up a 3-player unique pack. Dill is going to open up a rare pack, and we're both going to blindly select from the other person's pack. So when I open up my 3-player unique, Dill's going to have to choose one card to keep. That's his. It's going to go straight into his squad, and he can use it in round 1 if he wants. He's also going to blindly select one to hit for 6. Now, that hit for 6 card is going to go to you guys. It's going to go to the viewers. It's going to join that player pool and be another card that we're giving away during that live stream. The final choice for him, the one that's left over, will be the fast ball. Now, the fast ball will be what we throw up on the GameDay Squad transfer market for 51 cents. We'll also post a thing in the Discord, a little message in the Discord about an hour in advance so you don't miss out, letting you know that we're about to post a player up there for 51 cents. All right, Dill, they've probably seen this before in the bat and wicket keeper video, so the less talking, the better. I'm going to show you my 3 cards, and then you're going to select. You ready, mate?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All righty. Let's have a look at Dill's 3 options. Mate, let me know which card, left, middle, or right, you're going to keep for yourself.
Okay, let's go the legend down the middle. I reckon there's a legend there for me.
So we're looking for red, are we?
Down the middle.
Okay, it's not red. But, Dill, you are keeping someone that we mentioned and I spoke quite highly of, Platinum Daniel Sams. Probably a great option for your Challenger squad. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I like that.
Like that one?
I will definitely use that in my round 1 Challenger squad.
All right, let's go. Which card are we giving the viewers into the prize pool?
All right, we're going to go far right for the viewers in their prize pool. We're going to
far right.
6. Far right.
They are that means it's a diamond card. Do you want to change your pick? No, I'm not going to lecture.
Too late.
All right. The diamond card entering that pool is Matty
Nice.
Kelly. What do you think about him, mate?
Yeah, look, we talk quite a lot about the Perth Scorchers and their bowling options, and I think maybe that injury potentially to Jai Richardson, you never know. You might see Kelly make his way into the team, so I think he's potentially a good pot option there for whoever wins that diamond card in our giveaway on the live preview show.
And those 4 bowlers are also getting quite old as well, and Kelly's sort of that younger quick, so he could be spoken about like we're currently talking about Ty and Morris and that sort of thing as well in a few years' time. Alrighty, mate, that leaves us with one left. This one's going to go up on the GameDay Squad transfer market for 51 cents. It's another platinum.
Okay, come on.
I saw short there. And my heart skipped a beat for a moment. The only problem is... Yeah.
We've seen Darcy Short, go off before, and we could see it again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not quite an M short, but the D variety can be just as damaging. He'll open the batting for the strikers, and that was probably another player that we didn't mention. Also bowls plenty of spin. There was matches in the last couple of years that he's even bowled 3 or 4 overs. So there's a 5th spinner potentially for the strikers, and Darcy Short can certainly go off. That's a 51 cent card for your classic challenger or champion squads, and we'll let you know on the Discord when you can get your hands on that. 3 pretty good cards there, mate.
Alrighty, so let's jump in now to the 3-player rare that Stewie's going to pick from. So, mate, kicking us off, what card are you going to keep?
Well, you revealed a diamond on the right. That's obviously not going to your squad, but I'm going to hope there's some similar luck there on the right-hand side. Give me that right-hand card. What do we got?
3-player rare. Oh, we've got a gold card.
Okay,
and it
gold.
Is Usman Khawaja of the Heat. That will be a great card once he comes back.
Absolutely, yeah. He should come back for those last maybe 2 or 3 rounds for the Heat, which is awesome.
Awesome. Okay, where are we heading next for the hit for 6 card? That's the one that is going to the player prize pool.
Okay, I'm going to go down the middle for the player prize pool.
Alrighty. It's another gold. And it is Mitch Swepson from the Heat as well. We've got the Heat double. Love it. Make sure that you check out the bowling top 10. You might see his name pop up on either of our lists.
Mm-hmm.
He should be pretty dominant with the ball again this season. That means the last one is the far left, and that is the fast ball that is going up for 51 cents onto the GameDay Squad transfer market. Remember, we will let you know an hour before on Discord when that happens. It is also a gold card, and it is Marcus Stoinis. So another one of those stars all-rounders that could be unreal for that round 1 double.
Yeah, that's a great get for 51 cents as well. I'm sure there'll be plenty of squads that feature him, and probably a couple of winning squads that have him in there as well.
Definitely. I think, as we talked about, he's probably the ultimate pod out of all of those stars players that, we've already faded him in our top 10. So I think he could be a great option for whoever picks him up for 51 cents. Love it.
Absolutely. How good. All right. Well, there it is, guys. There's our top 10 all-rounders for the 2024-25 GameDay Squad Aus Cricket season. Let us know in the comments who you think we might have too high, or maybe some of the players that we might have overlooked. As always, new users can still sign up using that promo code FBAC24 when signing up to the platform. You'll receive a free 3-player rare pack by using that code FBAC24 when signing up. Also, you've probably already done this by now, but if you haven't, comment your GameDay Squad team name right now. That'll put you into the draw for that Matt Short Diamond giveaway. We've already spoken about him enough. If we haven't persuaded you to get into that draw yet, then I'm sorry that we just can't help you. We're going to announce that winner during that live round 1 show on Sunday, December the 15th. So make sure you join us both there to find out if you've won that card. We've got one more preseason video before we see you in that live show, where we'll be announcing our top 10 bowlers. Make sure you subscribe to the GameDay Squad YouTube video, to the YouTube channel. Stay tuned. in the lead up to the Aus Cricket Fantasy season via their YouTube channel, via the Discord and Instagram. That's all for now. Thanks, Dill. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, mate. See you guys.